Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Wednesday edition of 2C3 Pod.
Absolutely. I was giving you the chance to finally say the first word for once. So
Thank you. It's going to make editing the video much easier.
Yes,
My name is
absolutely.
Mitchell, along with my co-host.
Dylan.
Yes, and we're here for Wednesday, like I said, which is News and Review Day. So we've got some
Absolutely.
fresh news coming for you, a big stacked deck, and a review of a late... My apologies.
You're off to a great start.
And a review of one of the latest films that has just come to theaters.
Absolutely. Yes. Now, usually I say like, hey, it's
Yeah.
welcome to Two's Company Three's a podcast.
Yeah.
My name is Dylan, along with my co-host.
Mitchell. Yeah.
But you did that. So ripping in.
So you're just thrown straight off.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're crossing the Queensborough Bridge and pumping a particular gaslight anthem. All right, one more time. My apologies.
Okay.
We're crossing the Queensborough Bridge and pumping a particular Gaslight Anthem album on our way to 2C3 Pod, the oldest MLB player.
Now, before you say your quote, I'm just going to say to the lovely listeners and viewers
Yes.
on YouTube is that we're going to stumble a lot this week.
Yeah.
And we don't have an air conditioner in this room anymore,
No.
and it's our last day in this studio.
Yes.
And then we can't have our fan on while recording. So
Yep.
if we're trying to say something that's at least somewhat scripted and we don't do it correctly, it's
Yeah.
because we're sweating.
Already sweating like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and
The
we're
fan is-
seeing mirages in the corner of the room
Yes.
of like nice ice creams and things like that you used to see in the desert.
No, that's right. And I'm going to constantly be picturing snow in my head. So
Yes,
excuse us if
absolutely.
we fuck up a little bit. But anyway, getting into the quote. Wait, I need to. Yep. See, that's what I mean. This is. I'm so glad you pre-warned about that.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there or what? Fuck your asshole.
The Terminator.
Yes,
that was an
very
easy
good. That was a
one.
terrible Arnie impression. My
Fuck
apologies.
you, asshole.
Yeah. Anyway, so welcome to 2C3 Pod. May as well jump on the
Absolutely.
mention the socials while we're here. Facebook,
Yes.
Instagram, and Twitter at 2C3 Pod on all platforms. Search that wherever you need to. And
Certainly.
if you'd like to support the show, TeePublic has some merch. They always have sales every week or two.
I
There's
know,
always
right?
like a 35% off sale. So
It's almost like they know that their stuff's too expensive.
that's right, exactly.
so-
Look out for those sales. Search Two's Company Three's a Podcast, buy a bit of merch, and support the show.
Absolutely. But
Yes.
if you also want to support the show, we
Ooh.
have opened up our Patreon account. So,
That's right. And I
Yes.
took a screen grab of last week's video to post
you?
on social media this week of us last week talking about something in, we may as well join that trend. And then I've gone, yeah, well, coming next week, Patreon. Turns out it's here
yes.
at 2C3 Pod on Patreon.
Absolutely, yes. We have 4 different tiers. You
Yes.
can certainly join. Each one obviously gives you something more in return. So we when I was setting up these tiers, I did want to look at a way that try and give something back that's not going to be too cost effective on us, and
Of
also
course.
not going to be too much of an effort for you.
And that's
So,
right.
If
Yeah.
you do want to support the show, as Mitch said, Two's Company Three's a Podcast, tpublic.com.
Yes.
Grab yourself a t-shirt, a mug, a sticker, or a fridge magnet, or hit us up on Patreon.
Well, yeah,
What you gonna say?
you said Patreon already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Patreon or a one-off donation through PayPal.
Yeah,
Two's
either
Company
way.
Three's a Podcast at gmail.com. Every
Absolutely.
little bit supports the show. Just remember, guys, we are 2 guys with full-time jobs, and we try and cram this in every week, and we love doing it. So every little bit helps us. So yeah. Anyway, let's get the begging out of the way. Get
Yes,
that done.
absolutely. Ripping
But
in. What?
Before we jump in, make sure you're listening or watching on your preferred platform, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course,
YouTube! Big Summer Blowout!
All right, take it away, Dylan.
Resident Evil. We've been talking about it a lot over the past few weeks because
Yes,
Resident Evil...
Resident Evil 3 games coming out very shortly.
Absolutely. Resident Evil 3, the reboot. But as we all know, there's been a string of movies that have came out
Yes.
over the years, and they've been gradually getting worse over the years. And the most recent one, called Resident Evil The Final Chapter,
Yep.
was hands down the worst of the worst.
When did that one come out? Because I remember watching the first ones, and they were good fun.
The first 3 were okay. The first, I mean, they definitely departed from the source material in a massive way. But
Yeah,
number
of course.
2 was really good because they had the live action Nemesis character, which
Yeah.
had the staples across his face and the minigun. It was really fucking good.
Yeah.
But as the series went on, it just deterred more and more and more from what people know and love about Resident Evil, that they just
Yeah.
got worse. And I remember the last one, I think it was 2015, maybe?
16.
2016.
Yes.
Okay, it's very close. But it took a while for that one to come out. And I was like, okay, they're going for one more. I know. They're going for one more. There's been a longer time between whatever the one, Retribution, I think was before that. And then
Yep, Retribution before that, and then there was Afterlife before that,
and
Extinction. Yep.
Fuck, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a long time between those movies, and I was expecting, okay, that means hopefully they're going out with a bang.
Yeah.
And when the trailer came out, I was like, fuck, these monsters look really good. They're really intriguing. They're going back to the Hive, which is like the underground laboratory where Umbrella sort of operates.
Okay, yep.
Have you seen Resident Evil movies? Like,
I've seen the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
I definitely recommend watching all of them, but the last one, fuck man, it is the worst.
How many is Michelle Rodriguez in? Just
She's
the first
in
one?
4 of them, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'm on board. I like her.
She dies, and then she returns in like the 4th or 5th. What? Anyway,
yeah.
The movies explain it.
Spoilers.
But, spoiler alert for a
15-year-old movie.
Yeah, but the last one was just so incredibly bad, but it could have been good.
Yeah.
The story was rubbish, but the action and the monsters could have been good if it wasn't directed and edited by Paul W.S. Anderson.
Oh, God.
Who's done some amazing things in the past.
We keep clarifying that. We always mention him with something new. We say, he's done great things, but stop doing shit.
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean. Like,
I feel like he's becoming an enemy of the show.
This is...
It's becoming a recurring theme that we go, Paul W. Anderson, you were great. Stop being a shit cunt now.
Well, it's like Michael Bay. Like, once upon a time, there was great movies, but the most recent Resident Evil, before we get into the news that I'll talk about, was edited to a way where if the camera just spent an extra millisecond on what the fuck was going on, you'd enjoy it a hell of a lot more because it's jump cutting. It gives you a fucking headache, and it goes from one to the next, to the next, to the next. You can't really see what the hell's going on. It's like, give me 10 seconds to look at this crazy monster that you've thought up. Like, give some credit to the designers. Like, I want to see this fucking thing, but no. Anyway,
that's disappointing.
Resident Evil reboot is on the way. There was speculation and announcements of this a little while ago, but it's now coming to fruition. There's more talk about it, and apparently it's going to be super scary.
Okay.
Which is what I kind of want.
Yeah.
But that also kind of scares me a little bit because Resident Evil, yes, it is scary, but it depends on whether they're going to lean too far.
Well, you've got to think if they're pushing it to be more scary, they're going to keep up with the theme of these being very adult films, not like a PG-13 M-rated
action
film.
flick.
Yeah, exactly, like a violent action flick. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
From what I remember from the first Resident Evil, I remember that was a bit more like towards a horror-y film as opposed to action.
It played the balance pretty well, I feel, for that kind of movie back then and what it was going for. And there definitely was that balance of like, oh, there's horrifying zombies and, you know, kick-ass action and the zombie dogs and things like that.
Yeah.
But fair enough, Resident Evil went down this track of being a big bombastic action sort of series, which the fans of the series kind of went, this isn't Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So they've gone back to the real stealthy horror roots.
Okay.
And that's what the TV series needs. But the original movie...
TV series?
The movie series.
Okay, sorry.
There was going to be a Resident Evil TV series recently.
Okay.
But it was scrapped for whatever reason.
Was that going to be starring Mila
Jovovich? No.
Jovovich.
That was like the first speculation of a reboot.
Okay.
That like there was going to be a TV series.
Has she been speculated to come back in this reboot?
I fucking hope not.
You really?
No.
After all these years, almost 2 decades, you're done with it?
I'm done with it. Yep. She's had her chance. She's married to the guy who wrote and directed these fucking things.
That explains it.
Yeah. That's right. The first 2 were great, but her character's got nothing to do with it. Anyway, Resident Evil is finally getting a reboot of some sort. All we know so far is that there is a director attached, I believe. So Johannes Roberts, who's responsible for 47 Meters Down, the first one.
The sequel. He wrote and directed both of those
he did
wonderful
too.
films.
And also Strangers Pray at Night, the bad one.
Yes,
okay.
The very bad one. The only thing that I take some kind of comfort from that is that it may not be a huge production from a big company. It may be a bit more gritty.
I'm hoping, if they're anything like Resident Evil 1 and 2, the games themselves and the source material from that, you got to take your watch and socks off, man. It's hot in here.
Yeah, thank God I already had the socks off.
Yeah, I could tell.
I wore thongs, you bitch!
What I meant is that like the first two Resident Evil games were very claustrophobic, very slow, very like you're scared the entire time. I'm hoping that this has like a $50 million budget. Yeah. And it stays within like the best Resident Evil games, or some of, like the first and number 7 were all set within like a house. Yeah. Like within a mansion.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like there's traps, there's monsters around every corner. Like who the fuck knows what's beyond that door?
Honestly, I feel like you could do a decent reboot for the 10 to 15 mil range.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, as in with a director like that who hasn't done a big picture, you know?
Yeah,
It'd be cool to see a bit of a grittier, like back to its original roots.
Passion project.
Yes, passion project, a very key thing. Hey, get Tony Giglio involved.
Yeah, he was not production designer, or he had some kind of help with the original Resident Evil movies. He was involved with those.
Man,
So,
I bet you $10 he's got a script there, or a draft of a script that he's written based upon this for a reboot.
Yeah. Well, you know which one should get a reboot, an actual cinematic release? George A. Romero's original Resident Evil script. Remember when I was telling you about that?
Yes.
Have you read it yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you gotta wait.
Dude, you know we don't have time for this. But I mean, a few donations, I could check a few sickies. But just saying. Anyway, speaking of big dicks and remakes, we're looking at the biggest dick of them all, Disney.
Yes.
Disney is looking at... well, they're liking this trend of the live-action remakes with Lion King from last year,
Despite the fact that it sucks, it made $1 billion.
Despite the fact that it's a live-action remake, but it's still the highest-grossing animated film. Go fuck yourself. Not only that, they did The Lady and the Tramp as well.
Which was straight to Disney Plus, which I'm surprised. I thought it was going to get a cinematic release, but I still haven't watched it.
No,
I
probably
won't.
Yeah, exactly. But also, following that news, now... Bambi
is
reportedly the next old Disney classic to get this live-action remake.
Listen, I completely understand why all these are coming back. Because have you ever tried to sit down and watch these older ones recently?
Oh, they're so slow.
There is charm to them, though.
Yeah.
But they don't hold up to them. Not in this. You can't re-release this on the big screen and expect people to watch it.
See, that's the thing. Something like Hitchcock's Psycho. That holds up today because it's just a person on film.
Yes.
You know, so that kind of thing, yes, it may look a little bit more grainy, but it still holds up as a thriller action film.
Yeah.
Animation, that shit's evolved huge.
Massively.
It's gone from like storyboarding and stuff like that and making basically like a flip book.
Like hand drawing every single thing. Yeah.
Exactly, to now where it is today. Yeah. So I understand this, but this one in particular, no.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I would really like?
We've seen how poorly this movie is. So emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Bambi's mum is... No. And you're going to try and convey that with real
Do you remember
things?
Fox and the Hound?
Oh, yes.
Remember how emotional that movie was?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I bet you that'll come in 10 years.
Yeah, probably. 5. Give it 3, maybe.
They're going to...
You know what I want? Aristocats. Do you remember Aristocats?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a classic.
Actually, no. No.
Yeah,
I don't want that.
How dare you? No. How dare you try and say that? We've just seen what live-action cats can do.
Yeah, but make them look like actual cats.
No.
But back to Bambi.
Oh.
You know what I want? I would want this movie to, say, for example, be remade, but not in like a 3D animated remake. I would want 2D animation remake. Hand-drawn 2D animation by somebody. You know, just like done the exact same way it was before, but just done again, you know, with like, you know, not 3D, but sorry, like, you know, 1080p or high resolution sort of animation.
Yeah.
But when was the last time you saw a 2D animation, like feature length film, other than, I think, Princess and the Frog, maybe the last one?
Oh, God.
That I can think of?
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely been some, but my lord, I can barely remember.
Yeah, give us that. Yeah. I'd be interested in that.
No,
just to see what it would be like these days.
As I said months ago, back with the debacle of the Lion King and all that hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Yeah, they would have been just as successful if they remade the Lion King as an animated film.
Yeah.
They didn't need to make it the live-action documentary-looking emotionless piece of garbage that it was. And that's what they're going to do to this.
Yeah, or they learn their lesson and they do 3D animate it, but they give the animals actual emotion. Because remember, there was that fan edit of The Lion King where somebody had like deep faked the original sort of lion's looks on their faces and where their eyes stretched out and their mouths emoted. It looked great.
Exactly.
Like, give us that.
But Disney being Disney, they're just sitting there flinging their big dick around with all their money. They don't listen to fans.
They're wanking into their fitties.
They don't listen to fans. Look at Sonic. That's coming out in 2 weeks, man, and I'm geared up.
I'm pumped.
That's one of the first films where they listened to the fans and went, whoa. We'll put this on hold. And and I still stand by. That was not a marketing tactic. If it was, genius. Win all the awards. But I stand by that it wasn't. So this one, I'm not looking forward to this because of how I saw they treated the Lion King. So unless, like you said, they give it that realistic but still cartoony enough to portray emotions.
Yeah, stretch their faces.
Exactly. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
Yeah. Well, speaking of big dicks.
Yes.
Big
Aussie dicks.
Big Aussie dicks, absolutely.
It's not ours.
It's Hugo Weaving's, by the way.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Hugo Weaving is an amazing...
You're going to be weaving that big old dick up in here.
Yes, he is. He started an amazing film many years ago called Yahoo Serious. Did you ever watch that?
No.
It was a...
Wait, that was an Aussie flick, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, I swear I've seen that.
It was a rip-off of Ned Kelly.
Yeah, exactly. And... Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to rewatch that.
Wait, no, hold on. It was called Reckless Kelly, and the actor's name was Yahoo Serious.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that guy was essentially trying... Or no, he wasn't trying, but was Disney trying to get him back into the MCU?
Wait. Sorry, you're expecting the viewers and the listeners to go, Hugo Weaving, who's that? Oh, Yahoo Series from that movie in the 80s.
Do we ever take anything we say seriously?
Yahoo?
Yeah.
Serious.
Just remember a few weeks ago we were asking each other, "What would you eat? Would you eat an egg if you shat it out yourself?"
Yes.
Yes.
I've changed my mind.
There. Yeah, cool. Anyway, but
Yes.
Hugo Weaving, the guy who played... It's like we would say, the guy who played Red Skull, and people would know who we're talking about.
No, but why don't you say Agent Smith?
Yeah, but we're getting to that...
You jumped down.
Oh, have I? Okay.
Yeah, you skipped them. You jumbled them around.
Anyway,
speaking of big Hugo Weaving dicks.
Yes, Hugo Weaving will not be appearing in The Matrix 4.
Yes.
And, okay.
I get
Yeah.
like the reaction because we don't need this movie at all.
No, not at all.
So that's the blanket response.
Yes.
But if they're going to have it, I'm disappointed that he's not going to be there.
Yeah,
I'm
because
just
obviously
saying.
the main antagonist was Agent Smith, the rogue program that essentially made its way into the real world, which, I'll tell you what, if
here we go.
there's anything to say about the Matrix movies, the last
should have brought
one,
a fucking towel.
Yeah, the third one, as rubbish as it was, there was the actor who portrayed Agent Smith in the real world wasn't Hugo Weaving, but fuck, he did a spot-on impression.
It's pretty good.
Do you remember that scene? They're on the Nebuchadnezzar.
I remember it.
And he's holding like Trinity or hostage.
I saw it that long ago that I didn't even think that it wasn't him.
Yeah,
it's been that long.
I've watched it recently, and I was like, "Fuck, man, whoever that is, that guy needs a fucking pay rise." Yeah,
we should probably find out and see what he's done. But either way,
Anyway,
speaking of big dicks in Hugo Weaving,
yes,
I can't believe I wrote that, and then we actually used it in the segue in the first bit of news.
Yeah,
but either way, yes, like you were saying,
yes.
You're not sure whether Disney wanted him or whether it was.
Wait, are we still talking about it?
We've moved on from Matrix, haven't we?
Okay, cool, that's fine.
He's not in it. Gosh darn.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Yes, Hugo Weaving says Red Skull wasn't in Avengers Endgame. His version, anyway, because Marvel were impossible.
That's exactly right. And it's kind of it's pretty interesting though to see. I know he wasn't a main player in the MCU.
Yeah.
But of course they wanted as much authenticity to the entire story that they've been telling. So of course they would want him back.
Yeah.
But I assume he's probably expecting the same kind of paycheck he got when he was the main villain of a film.
And he would have had a decent one then, comparison to the 5 minutes or less that he would have got in Endgame.
That's exactly right. And he's at the stage of his career where he's like, I want that much. And they're like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, no, fuck you.
Okay,
Yeah. Knowing him, he's probably gone, nah, fuck him.
Like,
because
he's tone. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's funny to say that like he's the kind of actor who can pick and choose his career. I mean, he hasn't picked big summer blockbusters or big summer blowouts, I should say, every single time because that Mortal Engines that came out 2 years ago, last year, it failed miserably, despite the fact that it was supposed to be a massive production and
it looked like it.
Yeah, absolutely, but I didn't see it.
Yeah,
I think he was great as the Red Skull, and he told in his words that he loved playing the character. It was a lot of fun, but he was obliged, for all of these follow-up movies and things like that.
Of course.
It would have been cool to see him come back as a main villain, and now we know that Red Skull is out there.
Yeah. And
now that the Soul Stone's been taken and used and destroyed and whatever else, although it's been returned in the story, I would like to see that Red Skull character return to the MCU in a big way somehow, but I don't think it really needs him.
Yeah, no.
Because whoever played the guy whoever did Red Skull in Endgame was great. It looked really good, I think.
I don't remember him.
I don't remember his name, but I just remember it was quite good.
I don't remember Red Skull being in Avengers.
Endgame?
Yeah.
No, it was Infinity War, sorry.
Infinity War? Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so was it Endgame? Anyway, so when Scarlett Johansson and Jeremy Renner go to collect the Soul Stone from Boromir, there's that guy with the big flowing cape, and he's like...
Oh, right, yeah, no, I do remember that.
That's Red Skull.
Yeah, I think that was Endgame.
Yeah, well, it was one of them. Anyway, because...
Oh, yeah, no, it was. Because that's where Scarlett Johansson dies, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So I'm glad you put that in. Yeah, people are saying
I don't care.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's
but
been
the reason
10
he
months.
got there is because he originally wanted the the Power Stone or whatever, the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And he held it, and it sucked him straight into space, and that's where he was vanished to, basically.
Right, of course.
But yeah, that would have been cool.
I honestly didn't even think of that when I saw Endgame going, is that Hugo Weaving? Like, I didn't know think of it.
It doesn't matter. It could have been completely animated. I mean, it probably, it was like, there's like 1% real person behind that anyway.
Yeah,
and that was
exactly.
just the voice.
Yeah, but still, either way, it's nice to hear of actors struggling to, bargain and stuff and get the extra millions I assume they think they deserve.
Yeah, anyway, but speaking of other big dicks who don't want to return to the MCU or just Disney and Marvel to begin with.
There's a lot of big dick sad news this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah. Patrick Stewart says he won't return to play Professor X in the MCU. Apparently he had a meeting with Kevin Feige, Fiers, a little while ago, trying to discuss what the possibilities would be of him returning as Professor X, because he and James McAvoy are the only Professor X we know, but apparently he would have been up for it if it wasn't for Logan.
Okay.
Have you seen Logan?
No.
Oh, man. If you don't watch the MCU or X-Men movies, you should watch Logan. That stands out above the rest. It's a film.
Yeah.
It's not the roller coasters that we're all riding on. It's a film. It's up there with Joker in its quality.
Yeah, but I don't understand. I don't know who Logan is.
Logan is Wolverine.
I'm joking. Okay, I know that much. Okay,
Right, okay,
give me a break. I thought you'd attack me, not just clearly explain it like a very nice person.
I was going to say, if you don't know it, I'm happy to explain it. That's what we're here for.
No, exactly. So, when was the last time he appeared as Professor X?
It was in Logan.
Okay, so
because,
that was 2017, I believe?
Yes, yeah. Because he dies.
Which one?
Professor X.
And Logan.
That's right. Yes,
I knew that. I knew that.
Yeah, spoiler alert, they both died. But he has like an aged... if they were to introduce him into the MCU, none of the events that would occur in the MCU would really lead him to being in that point in that character's life in Logan.
Okay.
There would have been too much of this in between for him to be like this decrepit old man living in a tin shed, you know, and all the events that happen in Logan. I won't spoil too much of it because you should fucking watch it.
Okay.
As I said, it's a great film.
I'll add
Very
it to my
violent
list of
too.
film. I'll add it to my list of films that we're definitely going to watch.
Yeah,
right?
Put it at the top.
Okay, right.
But yeah, I think I don't really care either way. Either I'm happy for them to continue with somebody else if they're going to bring in the X-Men into this series, because at this point, I kind of don't care.
No, well, that's the thing. What's the one coming out? New Monsters, New Mutants.
New Mutants. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Exactly. I'm excited for that.
Different.
Exactly, and I'm hoping that this takes it on a new path where this is the first of a new series, and hopefully they're good and they live up to that slightly horror vibe. And
well, as we said in the news last week or the week before, that the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange was supposed to be kind of horror, and that is starting to fall through a bit. So we'll see where they go, whether they introduce more of those sort of elements. But
yes, that's right.
Leave the horror up to the pros. Bring in somebody else to make those sort of movies, or keep New Mutants separate.
Exactly.
Keep that its own thing.
That's what I want. That's what I want it to be separate. But anyway, moving on. This is a bit of news that you added just recently today, I think.
Okay. Yep.
Or the other day. The Thing.
Yes, I added it today.
Is coming back.
I love The Thing, the original one with Kurt Russell, and I do very much like the prequel, which has... God damn it, I was thinking... Don't tell me. I was thinking of her name literally a second before I was going to...
She's like a favourite, dude.
I know.
She's coming in a movie next week.
I know, she's in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
She was in The Thing.
She's got 3 names.
Yeah. Oh, fuck, man.
First name, Mary.
Dude, I'm lost for
really?
words. Yeah.
I am so sorry, Mary.
I said it's so hot in here.
I am so sorry, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. We love you to bits, okay? Yes. Ignore him. He's just riddled by this drought.
Yeah. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I apologize. Yes, she was great in the prequel, and I think her supporting cast were very good as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that one's gone down in history as a bit of a dud, only because they were going to use... not prosthetics, sorry. Fuck, I've lost for words now. I'm so fucking hot in here.
They were going to use CGI, but they used practical.
Eventually. No, opposite.
Oh, right. Wait, I need to rewatch that.
Yeah.
It wasn't practical effects?
No, not at all. It was all CGI.
That's disappointing.
But that's the thing. That's what made the original so fucking good.
Exactly.
But that was a remake, re-adaptation, essentially, of The Thing from Outer Space, or whatever it was called. The Thing, Universal and Blumhouse Pictures, which is obviously very well known for its horror. I don't think they've made anything but horror films, or at least thrillers of that nature.
Yep.
Developing a new version of The Thing that will adapt the long-lost original novel. Apparently, the original novel from 1938 called Frozen Hell was recently discovered. So back when The Thing was made, and The Thing prequel, and The Thing from Other Worlds, whatever it was called, this book was heard of. But it was uncovered only recently.
That's insane that in our day and age there are still things like that. Pun intended. There are still things like that like, you know, actually are hidden away, and then they find them and they're like, whoa, this is brand new.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Like, but it's brand new, but it's like 80 years old, you know?
Yeah.
That's exciting as hell, man. I'm definitely all on board for this because, like you said, I know the prequel, it was a bit like,
it was on the fence for fans.
Yeah, but I still saw it in the theaters and I still had a good time and I've watched it since. Like,
I think the thing that gets me about it is because I'm very much like, the originals are always better in some form of fashion, but I watched The Thing prequel first, and I watched it several times thinking, this is like Dead Space. I'm amazed by this. They're ripping apart, blah, 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 you know.
And you hadn't seen The Thing.
No, and then I didn't expect. See, this is where my love for this series comes from. I watched the prequel with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, loved it. Yep. And then many years later, I watched the original, not expecting that was the prequel. And then I was like, what the fuck? The dog's running away. No, sorry, the dog arrives.
Yeah.
I was like, where'd the dog? Oh, at the end of the prequel, the dog runs away, you know, and then it turns into The Thing. And what was the other? The big, how they freeze it in the ice box. Yep. And then in the original, John Carpenter's, the ice box is already broken up. But in the prequel, they freeze the fucking thing. They find it. I was like, it blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
It blew my tiny little brain apart.
So you actually got to see that story in order.
Yes.
Yeah. Unintentionally.
It works so well.
Yeah.
So I would love to see this eventually when it comes out. Hoping that it does have more practical effects, maybe with a mixture of CGI. But we know how good practical effects can be.
Exactly.
Swamp Thing.
But is this Frozen Hell story? Is it still very similar to this, or is it in the same vein?
I don't. As much as you know is what I know.
Yeah, okay.
You know? But I'm really intrigued to find out a hell of a lot more. And if there is a copy of this thing floating around on the internet somewhere, you know, or at least just a synopsis, I would like to know that there is some similarities. Well, but even if it's completely different, and John Carpenter just went, let's just do this instead with this concept. I'm happy to see where this goes and whether it's something completely different,
absolutely,
or similar in any kind of way.
I'm all on board for this. Yes. Like I said, I love that story. I love that concept too. Very good films.
Yep.
So I'm all on board with the brand new one.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to something that we both deeply are passionate about and we care about so much, okay?
Yeah.
All regular listeners know how much we love Game of Thrones memes because we haven't seen the TV show.
So we haven't. Right? Yes.
It's the final countdown. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Good. Anyway, so Game of Thrones, apparently, it is getting a prequel, House of Dragon, and it is to launch in 2022 on HBO. And yeah.
Yep. Good. Moving on.
Yep. Pretty much. Like, we know it's a huge deal, but we have not seen a minute of it.
And I'm not going to. I don't fucking care.
We just, like you said, needed to mention it. Now we can use that in a tagline.
Hey,
thank you.
One of our Patreon tiers, I will say this now, is that if you pay the $20 tier, you get to recommend to us a movie or game or series of something that you want us to talk about.
Oh, God.
If you recommend Game of Thrones, I'm not fucking doing it. You can have your money back. You can recommend something else.
No. I'm sorry. I'll boot him out of the podcast because I will happily accept your Patreon subscription and I will study the fuck out of it. I may not watch it, but I'm going to study it. Pretend like I know all about it. So if you'd like to hear me talk for 45 minutes about the Wikipedia page of Game of Thrones, head on over to Patreon 2C3Pod. All right? Thank you very much.
Anything else. But the next one that you've put in, which is a trailer which I saw fairly recently, has me very excited. And I'm not the biggest fan of this series of things to begin with.
It's in Trailer Park this week, man. I added it to the list.
Okay. Do we want to talk about it now or keep it later?
No. We can talk about it, but not the trailer.
Okay.
Anyway,
how do we talk about this?
Okay.
Pokemon.
Yes.
Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution, the original animated Pokemon movie, is getting a kind of remake.
I'd say hopefully with the intentions of reboot, but a remake.
Yeah,
it's essentially a remake. It's a remake, but potentially we get the remakes of the sequels.
Yeah, but not only that. Remember earlier this episode I was talking about when are they going to bring back like a remake of something but keep it 2D animation? This is it. It's not fully 3D. It's kind of 2D-ish, but it's got real slick 3D kind of animation to it.
It definitely looks like a 2020 animation.
Yeah.
but it's still somewhat traditional.
It's still the 1980, 1998, 1999 original script?
99 or 2000.
Yeah,
it would have been.
No, there was a Pokemon 2000, but I think that was the sequel,
that's
wasn't
correct.
it?
Yes, well done. Yeah, that's the one with Mew on the front. Yes, so it would have been 99. My
I
apologies.
saw that movie at the Regal.
Really?
Yep.
My lord. We do need to get there.
Yeah, but they just have to put on good movies.
Well, not just good movies, but also when you do have a good movie put on, keep it on instead of cancelling the session and making us miss out on seeing potentially the best foreign film ever.
Yeah.
Just
anyway,
saying.
we've got to keep up for that. But yeah, we'll talk about more of that Pokemon thing
we'll touch on
Friday's
that Friday.
episode.
Yeah, make sure you set an alarm. Just saying.
The Netflix is releasing an animated Witcher TV series.
Sorry, is it Netflix or the Netflix? I'm not sure.
The Netflix.
The Netflix.
The Netflix is releasing Witcher.
That's an extra $2 a month on top of your current subscription.
That's right, because you can have regular Netflix and then you've got the Netflix, which
Yeah.
is just that whole other tier above
It's
that.
kind of like Netflix, but he thinks he has a bigger dick.
Yeah.
And he's just got an ego about him.
That's
know?
right, but
Yeah.
you're paying for that extra half inch.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And he's always got that girl that it's like, yeah, she's kind of hot if I squint, but then open your eyes and you're like, oh, that's trash.
Yeah, but you wouldn't pass
HFFA.
it up. Yeah.
Hot from far away, but up close, she nasty.
Yeah, a bit of a problem. Yeah, anything but head.
But, so, the Witcher anime film, that's coming. That's something.
Yeah. Another thing that also has been
my
announced.
apologies. It's so fucking hot.
Yeah, another thing that I don't really care about that's been announced as well is Captain Marvel 2 is in development.
That's right. Yeah, Brie Olsen is reprising her role as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's going to be swinging that big old cape around.
Yep. Not that
Does
she
wear a
has
cape?
one. No.
Oh, okay. I honestly thought she was a female Superman.
Yeah. She kind of is.
I just want to genuinely apologize because we are both so wet right now in all the wrong reasons.
Yes.
I'm crying sweat. It's affecting my vision.
Actually, if you open that door, I'll carry the podcast for a second. Just in front of you is my linen
towels.
cupboard. There is towels in there.
Okay, two?
Yeah. Yes,
Yep.
please.
All
There's
right.
like tea towels or towels, whatever. They're just there.
Just talk about Brie Olsen a bit more.
So Brie Olsen, she's coming back for Captain Marvel 2, which is in development and potentially getting a 2022 release. But anybody who's listened to the podcast up until this point knows that I don't really care about Brie Larson, the actor herself. The movie itself.
Which ones?
Yeah, just not the real nice new ones.
They're not new.
Yep, they're perfect. Yeah,
Cool.
sweet. Thank you. All right, we're almost like boxers. We need to throw in the towel. Jesus Christ, it's hot in
Yeah, let's call this episode, man.
here. Yeah,
Can't go no more.
we're 30 minutes in.
You've hit him out too many times.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, boxing references and such. Sports.
Yeah.
We're a sports podcast.
Speaking of sports.
Oh, I like this.
No, you won't.
Damn it.
What's his name? Kobe Bryant.
Oh, dude, why'd you bring that up? It's a pop culture podcast.
Yeah, but a lot of people know about that and know who he is. I don't watch basketball.
You know that I'm a huge NBA fan.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You got some words to say?
absolutely tragic news. I mean,
Yeah.
not just him, his daughter as well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the daughters he left behind and his wife. I mean, that's just absolutely tragic. And not to mention there was another 5 people on board as well.
Yeah, the pilot and everybody else. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't forget about them. Yeah,
Um,
horrible fucking way
No,
to go.
but this
Fucking
is
helicopter accident.
I mean, there's been past like NBA. There hasn't been a modern NBA player who's had such an impact in literally the last 20 years
Yep.
that has passed away like this before. And especially at a young age, 41 is just way too young.
Still in the game at 41.
No, he wasn't playing.
Oh, wasn't
he
he?
retired,
Okay.
I think, 2 years ago. But
Right,
yeah,
so
no, he spent
still.
20 years at the Lakers, straight out of high school.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody of that stature, like as in the next on the list that would have this kind of impact, like would be Jordan. You know,
Yeah,
Jordan,
okay.
Kobe, and then before that, you've got your older legends. But the NBA wasn't the NBA we know now, and
Yep.
that everybody knows, and why people became fans and stuff. And it had its boom period in the 90s. He
Yeah.
was all about that, and I mean, 5 championship rings, MVP. I mean, yeah, it's a huge loss to not just the Lakers, not just basketball fans, but everybody, because he's one of those true from
greats.
rags to riches
Yeah.
story, and
Yeah, okay.
somebody who grinded, never took a shortcut and things like that. And
Yep.
huge loss, man. I mean, absolute devastating.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fucking shocking.
I can't compare it to anybody else, like really, that has passed away from the sporting realm in any league, because he was a Hall of Famer, MVP,
Yeah.
and only 41, only a couple of years from after retirement. That doesn't happen. So as much as they don't mean shit, because neither of us are religious, our thoughts and we're not
Our
praying.
thoughts are with them.
Our thoughts
Yeah,
are with the
yeah.
family and everybody affected by this. I mean, the Lakers just postponed tomorrow's game, and
Yep. fair
so
enough.
it's gonna.
Yeah. Everybody in the NBA would understand that. Their competitors, especially,
it happened only an hour or two before there was game scheduled that day, and they all those games went ahead.
Do you know how and why the helicopter went down? Is there anybody know about that?
I don't know the details on that, but the last I heard was the helicopter had just not long before it crashed gone up above to avoid clouds or something like that. Like it was low level clouds or something like that. I don't know all the details, but I don't know exactly what happened, but either way, man, like anyway, what an absolute bummer to actually have a in memoriam the week after I thought Betty White died. Anyway, so
bringing it back. So as we said, Brie Larson's coming back for Captain Marvel 2. I don't care. Bill Murray though is coming back for as Peter Venkman.
Not just Bill Murray, man. You've also got Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd and the other one.
I can't remember the other guy's name.
I'm sure if we open up the link, we'll know it.
My apologies.
The thing is, like we talked about this before the show, is that it's now confirmed that Bill Murray is returning in Ghostbusters Afterlife. But yes, I'm bringing it up.
Yep.
And as you said, IMDb had it, whatever else. But the reason I said that he was already confirmed, because there was already a leaked image of him wearing the suit.
But there wasn't when I told you about the IMDb page.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, I am positive, because I told you that and said, and Dan Aykroyd, and have you got his name yet? Nope. Okay. Yeah, and you were like, but is that confirmed? And I said, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I did exactly. And I said, it's on IMDb. And you're like, the most secure site. Yeah, it hasn't been wrong yet, bitch.
I've seen a few things on there, but
Rick James, bitch.
Yes. That's the kind of thing you would expect news places to have. Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray.
But it probably was when the film was announced.
Yeah, probably.
Honestly, they haven't hidden this as a secret, and it's clearly only going to be a cameo because they've gone a brand new story, brand new setting. I mean, it's going to be a cameo.
I like the fact that he's returning as the original character, doing whatever he is in his retirement. But remember, did you watch Ghostbusters?
I do.
Answer the Call, they've called it now.
I do. Yeah, I love that. They did that even before they announced this one. Like, they were like, shit, it's not a reboot. It's just another one.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand why you do that. Get them back for a cameo and not have him be the character.
Was it Dan Aykroyd who was one of the producers?
He was playing a bad guy.
Dan Aykroyd, I think, was one of the producers.
Yeah.
So they were fully on board for that film. Obviously, they didn't know the travesty that it was going to bring. But I think this film obviously does pay a lot of respect to the original story. And we've talked about it before, and we'll talk about it again as it gets closer to release date.
Yes.
Whenever that may be. But
I believe it was June.
Well, we're fucking certainly getting there because it's weird.
It's coming, man.
Yeah,
2nd of July, my apologies.
Okay,
but
so not far off. Yeah.
No, 5 months away. So, we'll see.
Absolutely. Spend your tax dollars on Ghostbusters. But Obi-Wan Kenobi has been pushed back as well.
Ernie Hudson.
Yes,
that's my apologies.
Yeah.
Still no word on... We've done it again, haven't we?
Yes.
Shit.
Rick Moranis.
Thank you.
I don't think. Listen, if he was to pop up, the world would go fucking ballistic, but I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere on the internet fairly recently that there was talks of a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids remake.
Oh.
And I hope that doesn't happen, but if it does, you have to have Rick Moranis as the main
I want it to happen, but it be called Honey, I Shrunk the Grandkids.
Oh, yes!
Thank you, Hollywood. We are sitting here waiting for the call.
It sounds like you're writing Ben Stiller's next film.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, because Meet the Fuckers, that kind of followed that whole thing. Right. Meet the Grandkids.
Anyway, well, he can play Rick Moranis' grown-up son.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? And Granddad's up to his old tricks. He builds the machine and then he shrinks the grandkids.
I'm sorry, honey, I'm hitting me, dude.
Yes. Man, Rick Moranis, please, man. Listen, we know you've stepped away from acting for so long, but your kids are grown up now. Like, come on, have them in the film.
Yes.
We would love that.
I'm getting myself excited with pretend IDs that aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
But enough Patreon subscribers, I'll quit my job and start writing.
Absolutely.
So head on over there.
Yeah.
But either way, man, I'm excited for the Ghostbusters reboot, and if he does pop up, amazing. If not, I'm still going to enjoy it.
Yeah. If not, we knew he wouldn't.
No, exactly that. Zero expectation. No pressure at all.
Next thing you put in here that the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series has been delayed, but as Ewan McGregor has said himself, it's still getting its release date.
Oh, of
but
course.
They're just pushing things out and adding a few more things in. He's fully confident in it.
Apparently it was because Lucasfilm aren't happy with the scripts.
Oh.
Yeah, so they weren't happy with the scripts and how the story was progressing and all of that jazz.
And they have any kind of say over this still?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe because they still have a lot of input with the characters, I believe.
Yeah, the characters. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Because I know that they have very little. I know that, George Lucas had a lot of story points that he wanted in episode 8, 9, or 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah.
And none of them were used.
Of course not.
So I would expect this to be like, oh yeah, the Lucasfilm doesn't like this slightly. Okay, well, let's not take on what we say.
Yeah.
Let's just do what we want and say that we've changed things for the better. Either way, listen, The Mandalorian was great, so I'll probably reactivate my Disney Plus service for this. I haven't cancelled it yet, but I haven't watched it in since The Mandalorian finished, so I have no reason to keep it until then.
What about The Simpsons?
Haven't kept watching it for now. I've just been too busy. But stop reminding me that The Simpsons is on there because I'm going to keep it now.
I know. I didn't want to sell you on it.
Yeah, but listen. Back to the horror room.
Yes. Wait, horror room?
Back to the horror rumors is what I was... Horror. Back to the halloumi twos. Listen, have you seen...
That's all, folks.
You have to have seen the best Resident Evil movie so far, 28 Days Later.
Oh, my...
Yeah.
Danny Boyle.
Yeah. Yeah. Cillian Murphy.
My lord, yes.
Yeah. You don't recognize him in that film.
I know, it's so weird.
Yeah.
It took me years to go, hold on a minute.
That's that guy.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, 28 Days Later, and then 28 Weeks Later, which was not as good, but
and
it was
Robert
still...
Carlyle and Jeremy Renner. I think it was a bigger budget. I think that's what got it.
Yes,
because it was
unfortunately.
banking off the success. And I definitely see where they were going with the visual style. It had that crank kind of cinematic style.
Yeah.
Which I didn't mind, but it just wasn't anywhere near as classic as its predecessor. Because
of course,
what I love about 28 Days Later is that I originally watched a Balinese copy. You know when people used to go to Bali and
I got 20 movies for $5.
Yeah, and they were all really terrible quality.
Oh, awful.
It turns out that I had the highest quality version there was. I just didn't realize it because the film is deliberately grainy, deliberately tape-like, and I love that. And it's the fact that it all starts from fucking animal activists.
Yes. Peter.
Let out those monkeys that were infected with rage. And man, they are some of the most terrifying zombies.
How good is that though? That long ago, they had such a simple plot point, but something that's still relevant kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
No, but I just love that though, that there's this group who are, we need to save the poor animals. They let them out. Little do they know they're infected with this incredibly deadly virus, and bam, you've got a movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is talk for the director, Danny Boyle, returning for 28 months later.
Now, I have been waiting for 28 months later since 28 weeks later came out.
Yes, absolutely.
It just seemed like genuine, progression.
Yeah.
That's what we need, because these are based off graphic novels, if I'm not mistaken.
Or
maybe there is graphic novels because of these films.
Yeah, I've never actually thought of that concept, but if there are, I'm interested to find out, because I like me a good graphic novel.
I might even be getting it confused with 30 Days of Night, honestly, because I know there is a graphic novel based off that.
There is.
Yes.
Great movie, but we'll talk about that another time.
No, yeah, but I was getting my numbers and days confused.
Yes.
Either way, 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and 28 Months Later has always been just spoken in the works, but like you said, because of the struggles of 28 Weeks Later, and it didn't perform as well with the big budget, it's just been pushed on the back burner. But
they killed a whole bunch of zombies with helicopter blades. What was so great about the first one is that it wasn't realistic in the sense that it was a zombie film.
Yeah.
But it was grounded in reality.
No, exactly. It was real people reacting to this unreal situation, you know, but reacting like people.
Yeah.
Not chop them up with the chopper blades. Get in the chopper.
Yeah. You would. That was really good. You would expect that from a Resident Evil over the top.
Exactly.
Fucking,
you expect that from Last Action Hero.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, so I know, we should have a whole segment just separated to horror subjects, because I love this shit, man. I really fucking do.
We've been talking about trying to get other podcasts on board or more podcast ideas.
Yeah.
Half an hour podcast just on horror topics.
Yeah.
News. Updates.
Look out for YouTube. We've got some videos in the works, of course. Yeah, we can do that.
No, I'm talking another podcast.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A little half an hour chat, but enough of this business meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, man, if 28 months later happens, take all my money, because I'll be on board with that straight out of Compton.
Yeah. But if you like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, and soon to be 28 months later, another topic that you've put in the news this week that actually happened last week, but I didn't put it there because I didn't think you were interested.
I saw it and was like, hey, we have people to cater for.
Yeah.
We always say we include games.
Yes, that's right. Dying Light 2 is delayed indefinitely, which has me confused because right about a week or so before they announced this new delay is that they just pushed it back a little bit.
Okay, so they pushed it back and then not long afterwards just said, oh, it's on hold for good.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think they really mean for good.
Okay.
I think they're still
No,
working
not for
on it.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just pushed back and we really can't give you a date yet.
Yeah,
We
that's
didn't
right.
realize how broken it was.
That's right, because when people say delayed indefinitely, that means it's done forever. But no, they're still working on it. Now, Dying Light 1 was one of the best open world zombie games that I've ever played.
Yeah.
Made by the same guys who, Techland, I think they're called, or maybe not, I may have that wrong, but made by the same guys who made Dead Island, which is like another open world zombie thing. I'm not as fond of that, but Dying Light 1, if you want to spend hours and hours upon a vast landscape exploring all nooks and crannies of like a zombie apocalypse ridden city and move from one city to another where it's completely different, you're jumping through these fucking skylines and things like that, Dying Light 1 is an amazing fucking experience.
I'm hesitant to say this, but I got given a copy of Dying Light 1 for Christmas last year. Like it's in the year before last.
It's an oldish game
now. I've had it sitting at home for over a year and I haven't even installed it.
Dude, I will talk you fucking through that game, man.
Okay.
You really should. Like, for someone who likes horror,
Jesus!
Lee, you got me fucking jazzed about this, man. You should really, honestly give it a go.
You didn't want it in the news.
But Dying Light 2, it was one of my most anticipated games of 2020.
Yeah.
One of, because we've got another lot of good lists of coming. But it's not coming this year.
Upwards of 2.
Upwards of 2, absolutely. But this one, so being an open world game, this one was giving people much more freedom to pick and choose how the story was going to play out. They were promising that depending on your choices will depend on the environment and how the world reacts around you. If you want to take the path of being the bad guy, you can join these factions and really fuck with everybody.
Yeah, right.
But if you wanted to join the good guys, you know, like you can grow plants throughout the environment and, you know, like things like that. You don't have to poison the water and you can choose, like Dying Light 1 had a fairly linear storyline, but this one was going more about, it's not just go into this world, do whatever you want forever.
So it was going to be 2020's version of Goosebumps Choose Your Scare.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Yeah, you pick and choose how you turn out.
Yeah.
Yeah, either way, man. Yes, I'm sure Dying Light 1, we will add that to that series that we are going to produce soon. So yes, we'll get on that. But
when we have ducted aircon.
Oh my lord. See, I can't believe the amount of sweat I'm wiping off.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like this is the world telling me that, the diabetes in my family is, you know, it is, what, hereditary?
Dude, I'm pretty sure it's like 45 degrees in this fucking room. It's fine. Hereditary is the word.
I don't know. I think it is potentially mum's diabetes. Love you, mum.
Anyway, Dying Light 2 is delayed indefinitely, but apparently they're still working on it, so hopefully it comes out soon. I just hope they have enough time to deliver what they promised with this open world, deciding which way you want to go about and what affects the environment. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Yes.
But let's get to it, I think. Unless you wanted to talk about the last one, but I don't really care about that.
Well, I don't understand why it's news. I put it in there because it seems important, but
okay, so
what's backports?
So like the HDMI cables and shit like that.
Isn't okay.
There's
people weren't expecting them.
Anyway, the Xbox Series X prototype leak shows the ports on the back, and people are like talking about it, and there's news articles about it.
Yeah,
it connects to your TV and power.
Yeah.
And possibly sound.
And USB ports, I mean, Jesus, a PS4 has one of them, you know, to charge things or add an external hard drive.
So they all have ever since existence. So
breaking news here on 2C3 Pod.
Damn it, the button didn't work. Anyway.
What button was it?
Ba-dum-chish.
Oh, of course, that's clever. Yeah. But either way, I think that'll do it for the freshest news. Make sure you subscribe and you can hear that again next week.
Absolutely. Yes. But for now... No, I did it again.
That's all right. Is coming at you fresh, coming at you far. It's 2C3 Pod DTC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's the most dyslexic song in the business. It's time for 2C3 Pod DTCR does the cinema.
Absolutely.
After a week off watching a terrible Netflix film,
yes,
we finally got back to the theater, but to the terrible theater and didn't go to our regular local, which was incredibly disappointing. Yes. And I was going to take your advice, but unfortunately I ended up at the other place due to scheduling.
And you spent way too much money on those.
Fucking way too much money.
Yeah, man.
I'm just lucky it was my birthday and I didn't have to pay.
Yeah, the sound.
Thanks, Mum.
The sound was fine and the chairs are good, but fuck me, you don't need that shit.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. we're just going to name things.
Yeah, Hoyts, man.
Yeah,
like, lower your
Hoyts.
price,
Okay.
man. Like, come on.
Okay, Hoyts, we totally get it. Like Dylan said, the sound is fine. The picture quality's fine. The chairs are great, but we go to sit down and watch a movie. I don't want to have to pay a combined $20 for this much popcorn and a small drink.
Yeah. Plus your ticket
Not
on top
only
of that,
that,
which is like $16.
$16 for a movie ticket.
Yeah.
What are we paying for your premium one, the Lux or whatever
Oh,
it
I
is?
wanna
You know, like
yeah. Anyway,
I'm sorry,
Event Cinemas Glendale,
Yes.
we would have been there, and you advertised it on your website, but they didn't show it at Glendale. They
they
showed it
had a poster for it at Glendale.
Did they?
They had a poster. I'm sure, I swear to God, I posted it on our page when I took all the pictures of the posters at Glendale. So, Event Cinemas Glendale, we apologise for cheating on you, but my lord, we had to
no
because
choice.
this was the film this week.
Yeah.
But we will be back next week, 100%.
We got to see the latest horror film for this month, or for January. Horror, action, sci-fi thing that has to kind of fill this gap within this year before things may come out later on. I feel like I get to say that I had the privilege of watching a movie called Underwater.
Yes.
Directed by William Eubank, written by Brian Duffield and Adam Kozad.
Good research, man.
Is that right?
I don't know, but you're struggling.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to pronounce their names. Anyway.
Brian Duffield and Adam Kozad.
Yep.
Yeah,
Starring Case Stew, Vincent Cassell, Jessica Henwick, John Gallagher Jr., Mamoudou Athey, and TJ Miller. Mm-hmm. Distributed by 20th Century Fox.
And they had the... They had it, man.
Yeah, but
so it geared me up
for a little while.
Yeah, but still, it was there.
It gears you up for a film.
It was there.
Yeah. The budget, $50 million, but the box office as of this review being the 29th.
Well, it's only been out for 3 days.
Yeah. $33.6 million on its opening weekend.
Nothing wrong with that.
But they are saying that it is considerably tanking. It's going up against 1917 still, and a few other good films.
Yes.
Listen, I overall, Underwater...
Wait, synopsis.
Okay, let's go through the synopsis that I read.
You wrote a synopsis, so get into it, man.
So, claustrophobic alien-style horror with surprising non-stop action. A deep-sea mining crew whose company mined too deep into the ocean must make their way through the facility, which is falling apart around them. But that's not the only thing that's not the only danger. They must survive against creatures never seen before while wearing cool as fuck space-like diving suits, which look like the combination of Dead Space and Gears of War. For a film as non-stop as this, there's very little story, but it tells enough to make us care for the characters and to understand why the events are taking place.
Yes.
That's what I've written.
That's a pretty damn good description of the entire situation that's going on.
The reason I say that is because the movie starts with literally Kay Stew and she's brushing her teeth.
Yep.
All of a sudden, bang, and then off we go.
Exactly. It's literally probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes of her brushing her teeth. She goes to put her shoes on, and the second she touches like the shoe, has to run.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop until the fucking end
really
of the
doesn't
film.
stop. There are a few, of course, like, isolated in a room type of things and things like that, where you get a chance to talk and kind of digest and learn a bit more about the characters.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't stop.
Yeah.
There's always that overwhelming filming of something's there. Something's there.
And that's why I say the combination of Dead Space and Gears of War, because the underwater like diving suits they have are very big and clunky and sort of futuristic, but the monsters that they're fighting against, it's not a spoiler, there's fucking creatures down there. Yeah. They're always kind of in your peripheral. You can see their glowing eyes.
Yeah.
I think that played really well. And I think this movie would have benefited from, all right, before I say that, I will say this film is definitely highly influenced by Alien.
100%.
Alien 1.
100%. Especially with the scene where they bring a specimen into that little room.
That happens in the movie Life as well, which is also very heavily influenced by Alien. And I like these movies. I like that they're influenced.
No, I was going to say, but it's not only influenced by, but also, yes, Alien was the original, but how you can't really take that to another direction without it being compared. So from now on, these types of films, it's like Alien inspired. It may not even be Alien inspired, but there's a lot of similarities to the original, and there always will be.
And I don't think
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I like Alien, and I like movies that may be similar, or at least trying to do something similar. But what I was going to say is that I think this movie would have benefited from maybe stretching it out and giving us a bit more time to sort of digest a bit more. And the bad side of that, where people would go, well, it's too much like Alien. It slows down in parts and fucking whatever. So I was actually pleasantly surprised at the idea that it just was nonstop. Yeah. And it was just action after
I didn't
action.
expect that.
Yeah. And it was still horror. It's still
I was going
scary.
in there expecting that, like you said, like as in it for it to progress a story a little bit, for you to learn about the characters, that kind of thing. But, I mean, the fact that it's straight into it, that's
and
probably
it still does that.
That's
it
probably
still does
one
convey the message.
Yeah, no, exactly. And there is still time to understand the characters and get to know them a little bit. But there's two things to me that held this film back, and that's one of them in the fact that there's moments that are supposed to appear like very emotional and have you, feeling, feelings towards these characters.
Yeah.
But you don't really get there.
You don't get the chance to really care all that much.
You learn about things about Kay Stewart and her fiance and things of that nature, and you learn about the couple that is involved.
And the captain's daughter, who's 14 still,
and the captain's daughter, and things of that nature. But they kind of just get told to you, and then you're supposed to 10 minutes later, when that gets brought up again, react to it.
Yeah.
So there isn't a chance to get emotionally invested in those moments.
That's right.
So for me, it didn't have any emotional investment on me, but it was still fine as is.
Yeah.
The other detriment to me is, and it's one that they cannot avoid, was the lighting. Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely understand where you're getting with that.
It was fantastic for what they were trying to do. And like you said, seeing it in the peripherals and just, it's always in shot, but never in shot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's all well and good. But the amount of times where you were almost you're trying too hard to focus that you lose the moment.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're 7 miles under the water. So it's my apologies. It's pitch black under there.
Yeah.
You do have certain lighting from the helmets and things like that. And when they are interior, there are like security lights and stuff. But for me, it was a bit too dull to be able to fully ingest what we were seeing.
I definitely got that vibe from when they were outside the facility and they're walking on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
And I think, I appreciate that the way they went for it, because they are underwater. They can only see as far as their light takes them, but there's also this dirt and debris floating around them because they're in the ocean.
Of course.
I think maybe I would assume that that's animated, or whether they're just underwater and they filled it with dirt and they're swirling it around. I have no idea how they filmed it, but if it was animated and they had the choice of changing that, I feel they should have just cleared it up that little bit more.
Yeah.
But
I understand
I get where they were going from. They were going for realism where they could.
Exactly. And I understand the realism, but at the same time, we can't relate.
No.
I think probably 0.001% of the population watching this film will have any kind of relation to deep sea diving that low and know what to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if they had have cleared it up, I wouldn't have been like, the water looked too clear for 7 miles. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's another thing as well.
Exactly.
So what we're saying essentially is that some of the detriments are also its benefits.
Yeah,
so I don't think it's a perfect film, but it works for what it was going for.
That's why it's been feeling weird. My headphone's broken.
Yeah, chuck it here.
No, you're right. It's very sweaty.
It's definitely not going on the way.
No.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, no, I know where I'm going. I just couldn't get it out.
Okay. Yeah. I think, listen, I was skeptical that this film cast TJ Miller. And I think he's been fine in things that I've watched him in. He's good in Deadpool, where he tones it down a bit. Yeah. I first saw TJ Miller in a movie called She's Out of My League.
Oh, my Lord.
Alongside Jay Baruchel. And I thought he had great comedic timing in that. Yep. Him cast in this film, I was like, oh, here we go. Here's the annoying comic relief. And there was a smidge of that.
A smidge?
Well, actually, no. It's probably a little bit more than a smidge.
I was going to write a note for this film that was talking about that I did enjoy the film, blah, 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 and unfortunately seeing the non-progression of TJ Miller as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get any progression from this man because
that's right.
Almost every line
your typical...
It's a more serious situation than we've seen him before. But at the same time, almost every line was a one-liner or setting us something up or it wasn't serious.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I was expecting the TJ Millerisms to be heavy in this movie, and they were, but not as much as I expected them to be. And very surprisingly to me, I did chuckle at some moments.
No.
I think it worked okay, and I think he had one of the best deaths. I was going to
try and word it without saying that, yes, he dies, but of course he dies. He's the comic relief. I mean, he is what
with
you
the way
expect.
this box office going, and you're not going to watch it, but I hope you do.
Yeah, no, exactly. But, definitely the best death. Yeah. Also, I don't know, man. I mean, the very first one, as soon as they hop in the water and get the pressure.
Oh, yeah. The black guy dies first.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't going to spoil it.
Yeah, but come on. Like, Taylor leaned over to me. She's like, I didn't think of it at first. And
I did, straight up.
Taylor leaned over to me. She's like, the black guy just died. And I was like, he's the only one to die so far. Like, Hollywood. Like, there must be a contract in the law of filmmaking. Yeah. That the token black character
they're probably still basing it
off
like a filmmaking contract made in the 30s. Like, no, but absolutely. Like, yes, it is a spoiler, but I mean, there's a lot more to go after this. Yes, but yeah, the fact that the first time they're in real danger, and the black dude's dead in like 30 seconds, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
I would have liked to have seen that character carry it on a little bit more.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, he was probably one of the ones that I was going to connect with.
Yeah, absolutely, because he was kind of one of the first to be introduced besides K. Stew.
He was there like a minute after she first appeared on screen and was there the whole time until that. One
thing that really surprised me, though, that I will say, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but we've been talking a lot over the past few episodes about the introduction of H.P. Lovecraft-style movies.
Yeah.
And that we're going to be getting a Cthulhu-style movie.
With that new trilogy.
This movie was almost there, wasn't it, man?
Man, there was portions towards that end where I'm like, maybe Nick Cage's is the second in the trilogy. As in, I started getting a bit excited at that ending, man.
Yeah.
I gotta say. But I will say, don't spoil anything, but your thoughts on the actual ending.
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it shows exactly what would happen if that was a real situation.
Yep.
In terms of like, how do I say it without spoiling it?
Yeah.
The incidents that occurred were covered up entirely.
Okay, yeah.
And just nobody really knows what happened.
Did you catch the very obvious, subtle sequel bait right in the last frame?
No, I did not. We'll have to talk about that off air.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. But either way, man, pretzel rating, or how are you viewing it?
So Taylor asked me...
Oh, sorry, good, great, bad,
terrible?
Yeah,
so I've seen three movies this year in the cinemas, and this is my first one that I'm going to say that it wasn't great, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. But Taylor asked me right at the cinema, so what'd you rate it? I said 7.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going back on that.
You just took my exact rating.
Did I?
I was going to give it 7 out of 10 pretzels because, yes, it was good. It was serviceable, but I'm not rushing out to see this again. Yeah. You know, and I understand the point behind it. I will say my biggest takeaway, besides the final scene and the, nod and a wink to the HP, is K. Stew did very well.
Yeah, she's phenomenal.
Very well as a main actress by herself in a film that she carried.
Yeah.
She carried this film.
She would have been walking around in that big, heavy-ass fucking suit.
And
she's only a tiny person.
Tiny, poor girl.
Yeah, so she would have been struggling, and she fucking gave it her all. I think she was great. She spent a lot of time in this film wearing nothing but her underwear, but I think that was also Alien-inspired. Do you remember the final scenes of Alien where Sigourney Weaver, like Ellen Ripley's running around in her undies because she has to get in the suit?
Yes, but also, as in, she's mostly in the suit, let's be honest, but there are chunks where she is just in her underwear because that's all that's under the suit,
Yeah, that's right.
So that was a nice little bit of realism to it. And
but I hope this film doesn't get a sequel because I know that the sequel won't be. If it is,
there's no point.
It'll triple the budget and it'll be a big dumb thing.
Not only that, it would be involving the stupidest people ever after what happened in the first situation with that company.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, anybody who works with that company after this, you are an idiot.
I would hope this film sort of stays on its lonesome,
stays as it is.
Thing. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Go out and see Underwater if it's still out and it's something that you're interested in.
And it's at an appropriately priced theater.
Yes, please don't fucking spend way too much on that because even if the movie is amazing, don't go spending more than $20 on it.
No.
Don't go spending more than $12 on a cinema ticket.
If you're in the Newcastle region where we are the #1 pop culture podcast, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
You've got to hit up Event Cinemas.
Yeah.
I mean, the prices all around at the events are pretty on the level.
Yep.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they're her home. Anyway, that's been our show.
Yes.
Mitchell? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, much for listening.
Thank you, everybody, much. That's a t-shirt.
Did I say that again?
Yep. Every week.
Thank you, everybody, much. Yeah, see? I do say that.
I know. I'm not just breaking it up.
Thank you, everybody, very much for listening. We're Two's Company, Three's a podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at 2C3Pod.
That's right. And wherever you're listening to or watching us, make sure it's your preferred platform and you subscribe. We are available on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, YouTube. Big Summer Blowout.
Now, you can support the show, of course, by heading over to tpublic.com. You can get yourself a t-shirt, a mug, a sticker, or a fridge magnet. And you can also head over to our Patreon now. You can certainly support us there as well. But if you'd also like to support us additionally...
That's right. You can make a one-time donation to PayPal, Two's Company 3's podcast at gmail.com. Any dollar, any cent amount would be greatly appreciated and just a nice little thumbs up to us to let us know that we're doing a decent job. So, yeah, absolutely. All feedback, Two's Company 3's podcast at gmail.com. Any business inquiries as well.
Absolutely. Now, we have 2 podcasts every week, every Wednesday and every Friday. Wednesdays are always the news and reviews. Fridays, of course, which we'll see you next week. No, on Friday, sorry.
Yes.
Is Trailer Park and Yas or Pass. So we've definitely got a cracker coming up this Friday.
Oh, yes. Casual Friday is going to be a blast. But don't forget, we will be back to our regularly scheduled 4 videos on YouTube every week. In the second week of February, I think we're looking at, because we're changing studios next week.
Yes.
1 week to settle in, and then we'll be back to our regular 4 videos on YouTube every week. So make sure you subscribe and ring that bell. You know, set yourself up for when we're back.
All of that jazz.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, much for tuning. Why?
Thank you, everybody, much for tuning in.
God damn it. Thank you, everybody, very much for tuning in. This is Two's Company, Three's a Podcast. My name is Dylan, as always, with my co-host,
Mitchell. And do not forget, we are Two's Company, but you are the podcast. Oh, I do declare. No. On Wednesdays, man. Friday. We'll do that on Friday. Oh.
Alrighty.
It's trivia.
Yes, if you've listened this far into or watched this far into the show, thank you very much. We do have a little surprise for you. It's called trivia.
Yes.
Alrighty.
At the end of every episode, just a little scorecard update. 4 weeks so far this year. Oh, sorry, 4. We're 2 from 4 each. We're doing it once each. There's been 4 weeks in the year, so 2 from 4 each.
Absolutely. Can
Nobody's
we keep it a
taking a
tie,
lead.
or is somebody going to take the lead this week? Anyway, we've got one here which our fans may like or no, but this is going to be a tricky one, I think. So,
Oh, Lord.
in Star Wars,
Oh.
what body part does Luke Skywalker lose in the battle with Darth Vader?
Oh, his left arm. His arm. Right arm. His arm.
I'm going to let
Wait,
you lock
in the
one
battle with... Oh,
Darth
so it
Vader.
is the particular appendage. Which one?
Yes. I'm going to let you lock that one in.
It's his right arm.
Yes! Yes!
All right, on the board.
That was a complete guess, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I literally went left, right. Thanks for tuning into that video by Two's Company, Three's a Podcast. Don't be sad though, there's plenty more where that came from. Another cheeky video right there. Maybe even hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. Or, if you don't like our faces, check us out on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.